Hello.
Hi, Sarah. How are you today?
I'm okay. It's a long Sunday. It's okay.
It's a long Sunday. I hear
It's a
you.
long Sunday.
Yeah. It's a long Sunday because you had stuff to do, and yeah lah. Because when we're running our own businesses, we can't like say stop to work, right? We got to work all the time, right?
Yeah, I do not recommend this to everyone.
You know what, correct? I think maybe before we start our conversation, let's
Hmm.
give our audiences, especially those who don't have like who don't know you that well, who don't go to conventions, have an introduction or just to hear a little bit more from you. So maybe you can
Uh,
spend time
hmm.
to just talk a little bit about yourself, what you do, and how you got into the toy design industry.
Oh, okay. Let's hope it doesn't take too long. Okay, I'm currently a biz dev illustrator, toy designer, slightly pop kind of artist, but I really enjoy toy product and consumer design kind of stuff. So let's have a look at this little friend here. So here is a Darumao. It's one of my favorite toys that I've made so far. Hello.
Yeah, it's been around for a very long
And
time. It's so
it's
cool.
been around for a while, and I mean, around for a while means he needs new friends. So new friends, new friends. We'll see how that goes along.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
Ah, so I started actually in poly doing animation, and as it turns out, there's a big difference between liking animation and being able to do animation. Turns out
Mm,
I just like animation, completely different.
mm,
So okay, I don't do so great in animation. Figured out I like illustration. Great, let's try illustration.
mm.
That was also just okay. Yeah, this was a first job problem. We can go into that later. But so illustration, let's see, game art, concept art. I did design for Capcom London at some point. Designed for what was that? Sparky Animations. I did concept art design for them. And then after a longish time, I said, I'm done with this stupid industry. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to do my own thing now. And then I said, okay, let's try something else. Let's try something else. Okay, let's try toys. Okay, let's try toys. So I saved money and put in a good amount of savings to make my first designer toy, which is actually not this guy. This is not the first guy. Where is he? Here he is. This is actually the first toy.
Hey!
His name is Noodles because
Yeah, it's the noodles on the
he
head
likes
of the
ramen,
panda.
so there's noodles there on his head. Yeah, on the head. And then it was after that I just fell in love with the whole toy thing. And then interestingly, I got headhunted about a year later by a toy company, and which was a good experience. I was with them for about 2 years. I learned a lot, and let's see, got a lot of experience, had good colleagues. So I picked up a lot of tricks, I guess, in a way, and learned about manufacturing and how things are done.
Mm.
Factory, colors, Pantone, all these important parts that one should know, but I don't know because I'm not industrial design trained. So that was a good experience, I think. And now I'm back to freelancing again. Yay.
So you're freelancing and still doing your toy designs at the same.
Doing my own thing on the side. And it's something I put some time and effort into when I can because it's not cheap. Okay. If anyone here is thinking about doing toys, not cheap. Let me remember.
But what's roughly like the setup cost like like when you are talking about designing your.
Okay. If you're an artist, that's great because there are some people who come up to me and they can't draw, but they want to make a toy. But fair enough, there's no real barrier to this whole toy making thing. So if you can draw, that's great. If you can 3D model, it's even better. You don't have to pay a 3D model to get your model done. You will have to pay someone to get your 3D print out, a decent 3D print. And after that, you're going to have to find a factory and then you're going to look at the numbers. But basically, roughly, it's easy to start at $10,000 for a toy
Mm.
as a
Wow,
base price. Yeah.
as a base price, just to sink in the capital to start on
You can
your
always
own.
go cheaper if you're feeling, yeah. But you can always go cheaper if you can sculpt on your own, as
Mm.
in clay. You can actually sculpt in clay on your own. then you can start to cast on your own and you do very small resin runs. That's also doable, entirely doable.
Mm. Wow,
So a
but
lot
that
of it
sounds.
depends on your skill
Mhm.
set, actually. For
It's
me, I'm not a very good sculptor, so I kind of outsource. And I do the art direction. I do all the art direction for it. And I talk to people about materials and about the manufacturing methods and discuss pricing. So for me, I would say it still costs me money, but not like $10,000 kind of money. It's otherwise this would be really hard to do.
Mm. So when you first started out, did you know that it's going to cost you like this a much amount of effort and
Um, in a way, yes, because when I talked to actually the first company I approached, the ones who did my panda, I talked to Mighty Jacks, and they laid it out to me quite clearly how this was gonna go and how much it was gonna cost. And of course, when I heard the price, I was like, but I really wanted to try this out, so I said, okay, here's my money, take care of my baby, please make something nice for me. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of leap of faith in a sense because um, provided you have full artistic control, like you go at it from start to finish, then you really can control every step of the manufacturing. Once you leave it to a factory in China, there's a little bit of faith and hope you have to give the factory that they, get it right.
Mm. So what do you get out of like producing like toys for folks? And what do you get out of it? I mean, other than money, right? But what do you really get
Mm.
from your customers who buy your stuff?
Uh, well, I like my customers to be happy with their products. I like it when I see their eyes light up and they go, "Oh, this is so cute. I want to buy this toy. How much is this? Oh, how much? Oh, very good. I buy." That kind of thing. Those are my favorite customers. The I see, I like, I buy because I myself do the same thing. If I see a toy that's affordable enough, I don't even ask about price. I just go, "This is very cute. I'm going to buy this." And these are the best kinds of customers.
Mm. Oh, okay. So you like
And
the
I
impression
guess
they have.
artistically, people are getting a piece of the artist.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's just like, oh, very cute. Who's the artist? Oh, it's you are. Oh, okay, very good. I don't know. My design sense is quite interesting because how should I? There's some conventions where I'm at, and then they ask who's the designer, and they're surprised that it's me. I think some of them were expecting a guy. It's very
Really
interesting. Yeah.
interesting. So I mean, let's just go into the topic that we want to discuss about, like, which is about creating value with your ideas, right? So, what is value for you?
Mm.
Like, yeah, what is value? What
Uh,
is your definition of value?
Value for me is okay. So aside from basic monetary value, of course, I want my products to have some kind of like it's worth something enough to part with your money.
Hmm.
But I also want it to have just this intrinsic value actually because it's very personal. It's really the buyer who places that value, the kind of sentimental value kind of thing on the item itself. And it's yeah, that's the thing. It's very personal, so it's very hard to calculate and quantify. Sometimes, like I had a friend whose a Darumao cat toy had a bit
Mhm.
of an incident, and it let's just say it got into a bit of a fire,
Oh,
and
what do
it
you
had
mean?
bad yeah, and the house burned down along with the poor toy.
Oh
And I
no.
just and I just and I just felt so bad for her because of course at this point it had sentimental value. And I just said, look, I'll give you a new one. Okay? It's no big deal. You've gone through quite a bit of trauma there. Obviously this toy means something to you. I'll do up a new one for you and send it over, okay? So that's
Mm-hmm.
what I mean by sometimes the value it's hard to define because it's something that only you can figure out for yourself. When I think about the toys I buy, there is a kind of value in the sense that this is an artist I like. Maybe it's a rare piece. Maybe it's a color I've always wanted. But now it's mine, and I get to look at it whenever I like, and I get to play with it. And there is a kind of enjoyment that comes from that.
Mm-hmm.
And I
I
like to think my customers get that too when they buy my stuff.
So you like to see your customers happy when you buy your stuff.
Yes, yes.
Because I think that like value is something when, like what you said, right? Because
Mm,
the item or the service that you make has got to be worth something that um it's kind of like an exchange, right? It's worth something, therefore I exchange it with either my monetary resources or maybe it could be my time. right? To bother about it, to to even have something there like that, that is worth my resources and worth my time, worth my investment, be it monetary, time, whatsoever. So it's kind of like an exchange of resources, or it's an exchange of something, right?
Something like that, yes. That's the thing. It's quite vague in a way and hard to explain because um, personal. I think art actually, the whole thing is subjective and personal. Why do we buy famous people's artwork? Why do we buy artwork from a person we don't know but we just like? You just see it and then it's an instant. "Oh, I like this. I'm going to buy it." It just connects with me.
Exactly. And I think
Yeah,
that's
connecting. That's also a good one. When you see something you like and it just connects with you.
yeah, that's you hit a jackpot with that one, because there's
Yeah.
a human
And it's
connection, and that's
hard to
very
explain.
important.
Hard to explain.
The gut feel. I think it's different people have different way of experiencing it and explaining it, but I think it's really got to do with the gut feel. Like, what
Mm.
do I really or emotionally respond to this thing? Right?
Yes,
Maybe it could be
yes, yes.
evocative of the childhood memory. Maybe it could be evocative of the food that I like, or my memories of my hometown or whatsoever. Right? But
Mm.
yeah, I think it's something to do with gut feel, and if I can create something that helps someone respond to that, I think instantly I'm creating value.
This is the kind of design that is interestingly quite hard to do because to draw a visceral reaction from your audience is not the easiest thing. We see that a lot in horror movies, and you draw a very like "Ooh" reaction from the audience. But in this case, we want that reaction to translate into money,
Mm.
hopefully.
Yeah, and it's got to go. That means the value they offer, or the object that you offer, that you've created, is worth so much that people are willing to part their money.
Yes,
It's not even just
yes.
about the emotions anymore. It's not about feeling something or having a visceral
Mm-hmm.
response to something, but it's more like, I feel it and I want it so bad that I want to keep it in my cabinet, or I want to keep it somewhere.
Yes,
I want to
yes,
have
yes.
it and I want to own it. That's really powerful. Yeah, so I think that's something that I think in the designs that you've created, it's really appealing. So maybe I'll just flash some of your designs out there so the folks can have a sense of the stuff that you do. Um, so I'm looking at Isabel's or rather Sarah's let's see. Yep, there we go. Okay, we have her Behance right now, so you can see the range of stuff that she has created. Right? Any particular designs that you really enjoy working from your Behance website?
Mostly IPs. I actually found out I like working on big brands.
Oh,
know,
really? Okay.
because they've got some fun style guides to work with. So yeah. So okay, one of my favorite ones was Ninja Turtles, to be honest.
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, because they were quite flexible.
Ah.
Yes, meaning that means I'm pretty much okay. This is the Ninja Turtles. Go play with this. I can. Oh, yes. Okay. Good. I go and play with this and make it something interesting because the original style guide they gave me was from the very old Ninja Turtle cartoon, the super old, the original one. And I said, hey, can I modernize this a little bit? Can I make this cool-ish for the audience? And they said, you show us your design and then we will see whether we can approve.
Okay. Yeah, those are really cool designs. Yeah, I love the turtles since young. So
You know what's the sad thing about those toys?
tell me.
Due to poor distribution, they're extremely hard to find.
But isn't that good as well? Because it's precisely because they are so hard to procure, then people who really love this kind of stuff and who love your designs would really chase after them.
No. It's because these are mass market products. These are meant for really everyone to own. And it just makes me feel bad that not everyone gets a chance to own them. Yeah, this is viewing it from a different point of view. The mass market products, I want everyone as much as possible to be able to own them.
So could you tell us a little bit more about like designer toys and mass market toys? What's the difference in between these two kinds of stuff? Because designer stuff is so expensive, right? Why are mass market toys so much more cheaper? Even though it could be the same subject matter, right? It could be Ninja Turtles, but designer Ninja Turtle, it's way more expensive than that's martial art.
Okay. A lot of it has to do with the numbers. It's always a numbers game. So, okay, let's have an example. So this guy, right? Okay. So how many can I make of this with my own money? Maybe 100, maybe 200 pieces. So when you do the math on that, you gotta charge higher because you're working with such a small quantity. Now, when you're making, let's say, Mattel or Barbie, Barbie makes maybe hundreds of thousands. I can't compete with hundreds of thousands. They can afford to sell a Barbie at $25, and they can still go on sale and drop it to $10 for a Barbie, and it's still okay. They're still making money from it. I can't do that. Sorry.
So in a sense, you are paying for the artistic integrity of a designer toy as well, right? Because the artist,
it's also no. It's also scarcity. It's really because of scarcity at this point.
It's really just purely scarcity? Because I would think that, it's precisely because the artist, I would think it's also a matter of artistic integrity, because you are committed to a certain vision and you want your toys to be done in a certain way. And because you're so stringent with your way of doing, designing and having your art direction, your say in how the things are being produced, and you can only produce them in a limited quantity. And that drives scarcity. So in that sense, that whole process of that commitment to excellence in your vision and in your craftsmanship is artistic integrity.
Yeah, okay, yes, I would agree with that also. But you've seen how people clamber for limited edition toys. They do the most ridiculous things. So, that'd be nice one day. I don't know. People tell me you can judge the value of a toy by how much it goes for on eBay. And I'm like, oh no, people are reselling my toys. Oh, my babies. What are you doing?
Have you seen what's the highest value your toys have gone up to?
No. I haven't been prolific, and I'm not quite up there yet to become something worth on eBay. But okay, here's the interesting part. No one's been willing to eBay my stuff, meaning they want to keep it. That's to me a good sign. You cannot really find my stuff on eBay.
It's a good thing as well, because people really
because my customers seem to really want to keep their toys, and I that's great.
Yeah. That's a really good thing. Wow. Yeah. So you don't want to see your toys on eBay someday, no?
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, when the time comes, I'm like, oh, I don't know what drove you to sell this, but okay.
Maybe that's when you become super, super famous, when you are world class, and then maybe one of your toys would cost tens of thousands to buy because they're so rare. So they're probably keeping it for future investment.
Oh no. Okay, maybe. Who knows, right?
Wow. Okay. It's kind of cool.
But really, I hope people, keep and enjoy the toys.
Yeah, I think that's a key thing of being a designer, right? Because you want people to enjoy your designs and to keep your stuff. But how do you create value with your toys, or how do folks benefit when they buy your stuff? And is there a tangible or intangible benefit to buying your line of toys or your brand of designs? Because it's not just toys that you do, right?
Well, I think it's intangible. Like I said originally, a lot of this thing is very personal. Personal liking, a personal whatever. Sometimes I get a customer who buys 5 of my shirts, and I'm like, oh gee, thank you. You must really like whatever I'm doing to actually be willing to wear my artwork out. Like a walking billboard advertising my art. That's really nice of you. And it's subconscious really. Nobody thinks that they're actually a walking billboard. They just like the design. Same with how most of us buy our clothes in the first place. But it's just intangible value, I suppose. And
so what do you think you're offering as an artist when people buy your stuff?
A personal piece of the artist, I guess, a tiny personal piece of something that I touched. Because I also have to think about how I also feel when I buy other people's artwork. And it's always a kid, especially the ones who hand make it. It's always like this person put in effort to, hand finish or whatever it is that they were doing. And there are only maybe 25 pieces available of this. And I want to be a part of that. I want to own a piece of this little, collection that they are making. And I guess that's what drives me. And I think that's what drives most people, I think, when it comes to this kind of thing.
So you're saying it's the appreciation of the craftsmanship. That's the key thing.
Yes.
All right, but I think your earlier story also highlights something else because, like you were saying, like you have this fan whose toy and a house got burned down, and
Mm.
you just being so nice and offering, I say, hey, you know what, I can give you another one. I think there's something more that you offer as well, right? In terms of how you treat, you know, your customers or your clients or people who buy your work, right?
Well, okay. So I really do want my customers to be happy. I mean, very occasionally I send a product out, and when it goes to them, something breaks. I mean, it can't be helped. Okay. I actually had a customer in Brazil, and he was terrified that the product would arrive to him in pieces because apparently people like to hide drugs in toys. So apparently, yeah, this is a thing. So he was worried that they would break it open and look for it. And I was like, oh my God, no, you tell me if that happens, I will find a way to get another one to you. What's important is my customers are happy with their toy. The toy makes them happy. Everyone's happy, and I also believe it's good customer service. Really, as a just from a marketing point of view, it's like it broke along the way in a way. Okay, it's not my fault that it broke. Thinkpost or whoever it is did it, but I feel partially responsible for like. I don't know. Am I partially responsible for their happiness? I don't think so, but I think it's just good customer service for all. I want them to be happy with whatever product they bought from me, and I want them to have a good impression. The whole buying thing,
Mm.
they're going to go, what a great seller. I'll buy from her again. She's very conscientious about, how the package arrives to you, whether it's all in one piece, that kind of thing.
Right. Because so if I'm a customer and I'm not just buying a good product, I'm also buying into the whole um, Sarah's Isabel's experience, right? Of
Something like that,
right,
something like that.
right.
As
Because
much
like
as I can offer.
she really cares that I get the stuff in a good condition, and there is that credibility and trust, right, over the years that you've built up because of this level of commitment to creating something good for the guys who buy your stuff, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so I guess I would say, like, maybe it's not even just about the craftsmanship, it's also about the personality of the artist, the personality and the kind of vibe that they give out, right? When they, sell the stuff, because no one wants to buy from a grouchy or, or horrible person. But you want to buy
Yes,
stuff from a
yes.
nice person, right?
Well, that's partially why I think being in conventions in Portland is very important to be there in person,
Mm.
because your customers want to see the face behind the products, and they want to know who you are and how you are like as a person and what you're all about. And being in a convention is the best way to meet all these people at once.
Okay. Nicholas still says he loves the Godzilla pins.
Oh,
Quite fans,
thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah, I love your Godzilla pins as well, and the Gamera pin. Those are beautiful, but
Yeah, man, they're so cute. I don't know whether I want to continue with those though. They're still like King Ghidorah and Mothra and Rodan. I haven't yet decided whether I want to continue with that series. It costs money, so I have to think about it.
yeah, of course. It's probably not cheap to produce those, but I mean, those are quality stuff that you have there. And I'm a big fan
Good
of Godzilla.
suppliers.
Yeah, so
Yay!
those are really beautiful. When I bought those one, I was so happy. My wife can testify to that. I was
Oh my
like that.
god.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
I have considered making Godzilla toys, but there are just too many of them right now. And if I want to do something, it has to be something really different. So, well, we'll see how that goes.
Mm, 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 mm. And I think that's also something interesting here, because like when you do something different, you are essentially creating something fresh, right? Something extraordinary, something that stands out from the crowd. And of course could be, um, translated into some sort of value, because people who want to be different will want to stand by that and purchase that because, like, hey, no, I buy this because I'm different from everyone else, and that's kind of cool. That's kind of
Mm.
that helps define me as a person. So yeah, I think it's value is such a big thing because it can be almost anything. Like if you really want to define a product, it's not just visually how it looks like. It's
Mm.
about your personality, how you sell, how you engage, what the brand that you hold as a person. Um, but
I'm pretty sure, actually, marketing teams have entire discussions about value and customers when they're trying to sell or make a new product.
I'm sure as well, because at the end of the day, I mean, if you really want to go into this conversation, it's really about branding, right?
Yeah,
How you
yeah,
brand
yeah.
yourself and marketing and brand drives value, and I know a lot of creatives don't like to talk about this that much, or maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Put my hands in the air. I could be wrong. Disclaimer alert. But I think a lot of creatives don't see themselves as an individual brand, and just being a nice person to work with has value, has a nice brand slap to an individual already. Um, yeah, but especially in this day and age, people don't see the value of that. Um, but I've detracted from that. Like like I'm the one like going haywire today. But like for yourself, like, have you bought anything that didn't really live up to its perceived value? Like you bought something, you thought, hey, this is so cool, but then later on you got disappointed.
Yeah, this usually happens with Kickstarter.
Hmm.
And also, if you have too many high expectations of your product, sometimes you get carried away with your thinking and going, oh, the things I will do with this product when it arrives, how wonderful it will be, how nice it will look, la 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 la. And then you have this wonderful image of your head, this wonderful idea of it. And then when it arrives, you're like, what happened here? It did not live up to my dreams.
Hmm.
So, okay, so I do like to back Kickstarters. And interestingly, I don't back art in Kickstarter. It's
Oh,
the category I don't look at. I am very interested in industrial design. It's odd. I think ever since I went to toys, I've become very interested in manufacturing.
oh,
And
okay.
for that reason, I spend a lot of my time going through Kickstarter looking at the product design section. And it's easy for things to go haywire where product design is concerned. Because if you're trying something that's totally brand new, it means it's a new market, a niche market, but it
Mm,
can mean that you can go entirely wrong with it.
mm,
But so far, I mean, what do I back? I back things like bags. Bags not so hard to go wrong. I have not been disappointed with any of those. Electronics, it's easy for it to go wrong, so I'm careful about that. Interestingly,
mhm.
one of the projects that did go quite wrong for me was a an art project.
Oh,
They
okay.
were making little dinosaur skulls cast in bronze, I think, with a little display case. And I
Oh,
was like,
that one. I almost
yeah,
backed that
yeah, yeah.
one. I know which one you're talking about.
Okay. No, there are a few. There are a few. This was one of them. And I was
Mhm.
like hyped up over it. And I was like, oh, can't wait to have little dinosaur skulls on my table. I can look at it. Oh, I'm a little paleontologist. Look at my little collection. And then when it arrived, it was like, oh,
Oh,
literally like,
really?
oh,
I think I
yeah.
know which is the particular Kickstarter that you were talking about, because I wanted to
Oh,
buy
okay.
from that person as well. But in the end,
Oh
I
dear.
I, I retracted that because at the point of time I just felt like I didn't really want to buy a T Rex
Uh,
skull. Yeah, so but I almost got it, man. I was like, man, having like a T Rex plug so good. But like how I'm just curious, like for Kickstarter, how do you think people deliver, their perceived and intrinsic value, like especially for the successful ones that you purchase? What do you think worked for them?
uh, hmm. I'm not sure actually. I have to think about that. Oh dear. What's a better way to phrase that? I need a phrasing of the question.
Hmm. Okay, let me think. Like,
Ah,
if is there like a common thread between all these successful Kickstarter projects that actually delivered that value that you perceive it to be, that match the value that you perceive them at?
okay. New but different. Same but different. New but different. It's like pretty much they're doing something that we know already exists. So tried and tested, but they're putting something new about it. So okay, I will go back to bags. Bags are easy. Okay, so everyone on
Mm,
Kickstarter does bags. They're always doing a backpack. Some kind of new worktop bag. Oh, bring this with you every day. Carry. Can go on the subway, can go bicycling, can go whatever. They essentially all do the same thing. They carry your stuff. Okay, but it's how they market it. It's the kind of features they put on bag, and each Kickstarter tries to outdo each other, and sometimes you see many similar bags appearing at the same time.
mm,
But yeah, to me, it's coming up with something that familiar, but with a new twist to it, I suppose.
Okay. And the twist, how would you describe some of this products? How do they twist it? Is it a lifestyle thing? Is it additional feature?
Sometimes it's a feature that you didn't know you needed. So you could, before it was a thing, it was considered like, oh, so novel. You can put in a battery pack in your bag, and look, a wire extends out. You can charge your phone without having to fiddle about for it. Oh, so new and exciting. And for a while, everyone was doing it. So new and exciting. After a while, every bag does that now. So that's no more new and exciting. Now people have to come up with something else. So now the new one I saw was a bag with like rim lights on the back, which you can light up.
Why?
Okay, you ask why, right? It's actually for people who cycle. So when they're cycling at night, it lights up.
Okay. Then that will make sense. I was like, okay, cycling. Okay, I totally get that.
Yes. So that was the purpose. I also thought, why? You want a big backpack with a night light also? Where are you going? But when they frame as it's for cycling at night, then I'm like, okay, yes, this makes sense. Fine. Okay. That's a different twist. That's new. Okay.
Okay, so it sounds like sometimes you got to, even though you can have a feature, but you got to angle it to the right audience, right? Because otherwise it wouldn't make sense, right? Like, why would I want a big?
You gotta think about your audience. You gotta think about your audience. That's very important because there are so many people making bags right now, and at this point, anyone can make a bag, literally, because there's so many factories that cater to this. So now you have to think, what is special about my bag? What's the selling point of my bag? Who is using my bag? Those kinds of important user questions.
So who is your audience for your designs? Who are your target audience?
For me, okay, so because it's designer toys, you can be a bit selfish about it, actually, to be honest. Because a lot of the time, because a lot of the time when I design, I'm just thinking about cute and appealing to me. The first person I have to make happy is me because I'm the art director. If I'm not happy with it, I cannot release it. So I have to be the first person to be happy with it. So after I'm happy with it, I release the drawing or whatever to the world and see who else is happy with it. In a way, sometimes that's why it's an ego project sometimes, because you can create something that only you are happy with. And if you have the money, sure, you can go and make whatever it is you like. The real test of it is when you make this item, do other people share your vision and think, this is also nice? I also want to have one. Can I buy one? That kind of thing. That's the real test, I find.
Because you're trying to listen into your buyers, right? Who are going to appreciate and keep the toy. Right. So they have got to like it first, right? Even though I may like it, but if the guy who I'm trying to sell to doesn't like it, then what's the point of making it in the first place?
To me, there's actually an important design principle that's a bit subconscious for me when I was working in the toy company. And it is, I want to design something so cute you'll throw up. It is so cute. You look at it, your face is like, oh, this is the cutest thing. I must have it. Oh, take my money. That is the gut response I kind of want to get. I don't actively think about it when I'm designing, but it's something that's at the back of my head anyway. I'm like enjoying this cute face, enjoying the cute features. And I'm thinking, this is so cute. I hope my audience thinks it is so cute. Okay, very good.
But that's the thing, right? Like, how do you design something for cuteness?
Okay.
What makes? How do you do that? People like wondering, like, okay,
this is a difficult question. Okay, I've been asked this before.
Because there are some generic shapes that we know, evoke like round shapes, cute, fuzzy, but it's kind of subjective. But at the same time, is there like I mean, what is your way? Since it's subjective, what is your way or your philosophy of creating?
My way is that's the thing. It's hard for me to teach. I had someone actually ask me about how to draw cute characters. And I thought to myself, there is actually a formulaic way to draw cute characters, but there's no guarantee it will actually come out cute. And as an anecdote for this, I went for Masterclass once, and one of the sections was how to draw cute characters. And it was things like make sure the head is like this big and the body is like this small and the eyes the proportions are like this. And there were students who followed exactly. But what came out looked really scary. So in a way, for me personally, it was looking at a lot of toys, being exposed to many, more than toys really, being exposed to a lot of things. a lot of products, nature, going to art gallery. You're just looking at things that are pleasing to the eye. And you're not for me anyway, I'm not necessarily over analyzing. I'm just absorbing, and digesting for later. So like, I actually spent 1 year working at a toy store, a traditional toy store, like wooden blocks and wooden toys and stuff like that. So I would say that was also partially an influence because I spent a lot of time going through the toy catalog because I just like to look. I just wanted to look at the colors, I wanted to look at the shapes. I wanted to look at what did other people think, was also appealing, what works for them. And I do spend a lot of time at toy stores, Toys R Us and whatever toy stores I can find, because commercially, I also want to know what works commercially. So there's just a lot of examining of many different factors, I guess. And then when I design, I'm just thinking to myself, I do use some Disney principles for designing based on what I feel looks like, because Disney does actually have some core principles for this, but you need to modify accordingly as you're drawing. You cannot just draw point blank based on what Disney does. Sometimes it's about capturing a mood, I guess. Like when I was doing some Overwatch designs, I was actually told we want a chibi version, we want a kids version, and we want a teenager version. And you have to kind of think about what these shapes may look like and how they feel like.
Maybe you can talk a little bit more about your Overwatch designs, because I think those are pretty interesting to look at.
My poor Overwatch designs.
Will be under your which page is that? Because you have so many pages.
Oh, you're looking at my Behance, is it?
Yes, I'm looking at your Behance. Is it on your Behance?
Okay. It should be around there somewhere. I think you have to keep scrolling down.
Keep scrolling down, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Yeah, there we go.
You found it?
Yeah, let me just resize it. I gotta resize it because it's a little bit big. Okay. We only can see like the what's the name of the gorilla in Overwatch?
Oh shit. I don't remember.
Oh, doesn't matter. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
We gotta look at it now. Yeah.
Okay, originally when I was asked to do this project, it was a possible pitch to Blizzard to do minifigures for them. And it was quite exciting. This was before Overwatch was actually launched. And they gave me some concept art turnarounds to go and look at and study, and these 3 characters to go and play with. And I was like, okay, come, I'll try and figure out some different look for this project. And so I came up with a series of them. The only problem was that I think the lawyers could not agree on a deal, so we never got anywhere.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it's a shame, I know, because I quite enjoyed doing this series. I thought they would have turned out quite cute. Yeah,
you're playing with proportions, and I guess it's some of them. Yeah, some of the heads are bigger. Some of them the heads are slightly smaller. Some are slightly more realistic in terms of their proportion. So you're really just playing a proportion in all these designs, yeah?
A lot of design, really. Good design is playing with proportions and, getting them to look. Okay, so that's the thing. Appealing to me is something that's hard to teach. I have no idea how to teach appealing.
But I think appeal is also like culmination of your whole life experience, right? Because it's not just your work experience, like you said, your experience working in a toy store, your research at conventions, looking at a multitude of toy products done by different companies. So it's kind of like a combination of the refinement of your taste over time, as well as your craftsmanship, right?
Something like that, yes. Which is why, in a way, I mean, toy designers all have different flavors because we all have different backgrounds and we all have different things that influence us. So, but again, the idea of being able to teach appeal, to me, I have no idea how to go about even teaching the concept of appeal, because I can teach what cute means, but because cute can also be really subjective to you. How you choose to interpret and design based on the word cute can be very, very, very different.
Yeah, but like you said as well, right? You took a masterclass in, designing toys. Was it designing toys?
No. This was actually a concept art masterclass.
Oh, yes, okay. So it's a concept art masterclass, right? But it's kind of like almost like a formulaic way to design something that is cute per se. But like you said, right, not everyone masterfully does it well, or not everyone can apply those formulas well, right? It's formula, but it doesn't necessarily mean you be with the right level of finesse. And everyone has different levels.
I would say this applies to most art, actually.
Yeah, because it's very subjective, but at the same time, it's about taste, right? And it's taste is just born out of an individual's personality and life experiences. So
yes.
Yeah, those things actually go into the artwork, to the products that we make as well. So yeah, helps create stuff, creates value. Like for what do you think young designers can do to create value out of the ideas that they have in their heads?
It really depends on what they consider to be valuable to begin with, actually. So for them, that depends. They want to also make and sell stuff. Does value for them mean getting to work in a big company? There's value to them. This is the thing. Because this value question is personal. It's something they have to think about and answer for themselves, probably. Or maybe when they're thinking about it, they can ask someone. It's like, but you can't ask other people, what do I value? You see, that's a very personal question. You have to think to yourself, what do you personally value as an artist? So for me, I value my personal artistic freedom. That's why I'm a freelancer in the first place. I value that kind of freedom. I value the ability to create, my own products at my own whim. No one can stop me. So I go and make whatever it is I want. I value, let's see. I like being able to fire my clients if they behave badly. And but then again, this is to me, it's a bit of a higher level question. It's something I think it's fair to ask of a fresh grad. This is something I think you can only ask when they've been a little while in the industry. Because what did you know of value when you were fresh out of school?
I
what did you really know anyway?
I think you have a point there, in the sense that, as a fresh grad, they don't have much experience, and half the time you're like, okay, I'm just ready to meet the world right now. I have no idea, what my identity is as a guy or a person who's going to the workforce right now. Right? So it's kind of hard to define value, but at the same time, they are individuals who are really motivated and very clear at the same time. When I come out from school, I want to achieve X, Y, Z, right? And I want to be of I don't want to keep using the word value because that's been overused for tonight. But I want to be of use to society, and I want to have some sort of legacy, right? I want to have meaning in my life. I want to have meaning in be purposeful in every single thing that I do.
The very important question,
right?
Yes.
So how do you think people can shift more toward their mindset, whereby they start thinking about?
It takes a monumental event in their life to happen. Actually, I will admit that when I was much younger in the industry, I was not very self-directed. I kind of was. I wouldn't say I was lazy also, but there was a kind of like waiting for something to happen, waiting for the industry to do something or another for me, as opposed to me doing something about the whole thing. And I think what it took for that to change was for me, to start going to conventions and realizing that, okay, it looks like I actually have some agency and some stake, in my stuff. If I'm willing to put my work out for other people to see, suddenly it's like, there is something to fight for, personal, because I wasn't getting this from work. Work wasn't doing it for me. Work was just work. And it's like, okay, go to work, come home, sleep, do some personal artwork, and then that's it. It felt stagnant, and I was not happy with that. And I was also not happy because I was waiting, and I don't know what I was waiting for. The waiting was to happen. And upon realizing that, you can't just wait for something to happen. Sometimes you have to be the one that happens. And when I eventually happened, it was like, I am finally answering the question about, what do I actually want to do in life, and it's related to this thing. But it took a while to reach the whole point. You start with conventions, you build up slowly, discovering what you actually like to do. And it's a journey. Let's just say it's a journey. And sometimes you need a bit of a catalyst. And sometimes that catalyst is an event, your friend talking to you, and, a bit of like, wake up your ideas, Think about what you actually want, But, it's me this when I was fresh out of school, at 21, I would have said, I don't know, I want to work for Disney, because, when you're young and bright and, that's what I say, naive, but in a good way, you are happy and willing to work on anything thrown at you. And sometimes you're even willing to work for free, don't work for free. And, it's like, it takes time for you to grow into yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that certain events, like without Sparky, I actually would not be where I am today, interestingly enough.
Mm-hmm.
Sparky was an interesting event that shifted a lot of things for me because I met the right people who connected me to the right people, and I got my gig with Warner Bros. And I started doing, I wasn't even toy design, I was just doing a style guide design for them. But that started the whole thing rolling already. Because working for them gave me the money to start my first toy. So sometimes it's a giant, series of events that may not look connected. That's the frustrating part, is they don't look connected. It's like a butterfly effect kind of thing. Like, whoop, here we go. Something starts moving and then you go along with it, and you're like, sometimes you don't like where you're at, but it leads to something else kind of thing.
But for say, like for some fresh grads or young creatives, right? Maybe they've worked in the industry for 2 to 3 years. How do you think they can, start thinking about value creation? If they have an idea that they want to put it out there, right? Where do you think they can start with that?
Well, first of all, depends on the idea. What do they want to do? They want to start a business? Do they want to sell their art? They need to first sort out that part. Then I guess you should probably discuss with friends, discuss with mentors, discuss with peers. You got to sort out exactly what it is you're doing. Have a sounding board. Figure out whether this idea of yours is a good idea in the first place. Like, I'll tell you now, when I started doing toys, I didn't have people to discuss with. It was just me and thinking, I'm going to do this. So if I knew more things at the time, I don't think I would have done things differently, but I would have asked more questions.
Right.
I still would have done it, but at least I would have had a bit more information. But sometimes you don't know, you can't even ask about, because it doesn't even occur to you to ask about it. Yeah, so that can happen.
So it sounds like essentially the key thing, for at least from what I'm hearing from you, it's like young creatives and fresh graduates, they just need to be open to life experiences, and to be open.
Also, talk to people. My goodness, especially at conventions, talk to people. These are people
and be open to making friends.
Yeah. Exactly. I am a introvert. I like to hide. But when I'm at a convention, I will talk to nearly everyone. Partly because it's business, and partly because I do want to know what people are doing. I think it's important to know what other people are doing too.
And you forgot, and to let people know what you are doing as well.
I guess I should market myself when I'm doing. Although, okay, when I was younger, I did that more. Now, people generally know who I am, so not so much.
Yeah. Because marketing is so important. If people don't know what you do, or they don't know who you are, then that's a bit of a shame, right? Especially when you can bring so much joy to the whole.
Yeah. Like the whole personal brand is important. That whole, they talk about having that luck and opportunity thing. It's really getting your portfolio in order. And what I can say about that is there's a great deal of luck involved too, because really, if that company doesn't have work for you, too bad. But if they have, and your portfolio is right for them, then very good. Good, you have the job now.
Yeah, I hear you. All right. That kind of sums it up, I suppose. All right. So thank you so much for the show today.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. No,
we're done already. Okay.
Oh, wow. That's the name of this guy. Like, this bear. I'm like,
it's actually a work in progress for the name. I'm still working on it.
You still haven't have the name for it? Okay.
No, because my name for it is very lame.
Really? Tell us.
Yes. Big Bear. You know why? Because the other one is called Small Bear, because it's literally a small bear. I'm working on it.
Are you planning to release this like in anytime soon?
I would love to. A lot of it depends on the COVID situation, though, because all the factories are in China. So yeah, it really depends. I mean, this year is going to be slow, unfortunately, especially for manufacturing. I think everything's going to be slow. And sometimes have to relax a little bit even if it's against my will.
All right, man. All the best for that project.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you once again, everyone, and hope to see you guys around. All right. See you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.